very grateful to you all for making time. Some others I think will probably join while we're in progress, but I didn't want to start much later than the announced time. And as best I can tell, you are in three categories as you join here. Some of you have already signed up for Mario or Luigi, and I'm grateful to you. And I think this will be a good opportunity for you to learn about the benefits that come with both those two tiers. Some of you are hopefully interested in Mario and Luigi to join up for the concierge service, and that's really who this call is as much for as anybody else, is to try to give you a better sense of what the benefits are and hopefully interest you in joining up for one of the two before the Thursday changeover, and give you a chance to ask questions. I'll talk a little bit about the program and bring in my colleague Paul Wilkie to talk a little bit about it, and then turn it over to you all for whatever questions you want to ask. And then my suspicion is some of you are here to find out if you can keep getting the newsletter without becoming a member of the concierge coverage. And I want to talk about that. I'm so grateful, as I said in an email announcing the change, for people's support, readership, staying in touch with me. And if I could have kept the current business model, I would have. But it's not going to be as successful for me and some of the aspirations I have, or for my family's bottom line, as this new service is. So there'll still be emails that go on some sporadic basis in the beginning to the full list of those who currently subscribe to the newsletter. I can't tell you how often, I can't tell you what that content will be, but there'll be some contact. And my hope is eventually to get back to providing regular contact on a regular basis to the full readership. But for now, again, starting on Thursday, with Wednesday the last day that the full list will get the newsletter. Starting on Thursday, the only way you'll get the newsletter is if you signed up for Mario or Luigi. If you're in the midst of a paid subscription or a substantial contribution for which you felt entitled to keep going, dealing with all those on a case-by-case basis. So if you're on the call tonight and you've got an ongoing recent contribution or ongoing subscription, just send me an email and we'll work through that. Again, it's complicated because people signed up at different times after reading for different lengths of time. But as I said, Thursday is the day the changeover occurs, and I really want to try to explain what the benefits are. So I'm going to walk through the benefits that come with Mario and Luigi. I'm going to then talk to Paul again, and then you can ask questions. And again, if your questions are about your own particular situation in terms of a recent new subscription or contribution, you can just email me and we can talk it through. If you're wondering about the newsletter, again, it's available starting Thursday only for those who subscribe to the new concierge coverage. Okay. So walk through the benefits. And for those of you on here who have already subscribed and become members, I hope this is informative to you. So both come with the newsletter. That's self-explanatory. Some people have asked me, will the newsletter change at all as now it's part of the suite? No, it'll be exactly the same. It'll still be written in the same style. It'll come out the same cadence, and it'll be indistinguishable from the newsletter that's come out. Second, breaking news emails with instant analysis. Again, these top things I'll note when we switch to the bottom three that are just for Mario, but breaking news emails with analysis. Plenty of you subscribe to the New York Times or Politico or other AP, that other news organizations that send you breaking news alerts. What mine will be, I hope, will be a little bit more value added. So it tells you not just what happened, but some analysis about it. What's going to happen next, why it happened, what to look for, what it means. And so very similar to the content in Wide World of News, it just will be on a breaking news basis. So if there were a Supreme Court vacancy announced, while we're on this Zoom, I would just send those who subscribe to Mario and Luigi, I'd send you an email that says, here's what I'm hearing about how they're going to replace the person. Here's where in the hearings might be. Here's the significance. It could be a paragraph. It could be a sentence. It could be a little bit longer, depending on what it is. The frequency of those and the length of those, I've got in my mind sort of where the bar is for when I would do that. But I'm also going to be really responsive to the members, and people may want more, they may want fewer. I may switch over and do text as well as emails. We'll see. But the idea is to give you value added, so you're getting my Wide World of News style and quality of analysis, not just once a day in the morning, but throughout the day. Breaking news Zooms. These are an opportunity when there's a breaking news story to be able to have participate in and hear the kind of conversation that is, with all due respects to my friends on cable, more sophisticated than a cable news conversation and more interactive. So if Joe Biden announced he wasn't going to run, I would set up a breaking news Zoom. Sometimes it will just be me. Sometimes it'll be with guests. And the people who are members of Mario and Luigi are a pretty smart group. And so you'll have a conversation with Q&A about what's going on. Some people might say, well, okay, Joe Biden announces it at 6:10 Eastern time that he's not going to run. And I set the Zoom for 8 o'clock. And some people might say, well, I can't do it 8 o'clock. Can you do it earlier? Can you do it later? I'll set them based on when I'm ready, when I think I have stuff to say, and also when I booked a guest, if I think we need a guest or two in that situation. If you're unable to join and you're a member of Mario Luigi, the Zooms will be recorded and you'll get a link to allow you to watch the Zoom that you missed in a pretty timely fashion. Those, again, the cadence frequency of those, we'll see. We'll see how much we want them. My goal here, I've had some jobs in the last couple of years where I've had 10 Zooms a day. So I know the feeling that a lot of people have, oh no, not another Zoom. My goal is to make these Zooms you like and Zooms you look forward to. Zooms that when you get that notification, you say, wow, now I'm going to hear a really great conversation about something I'm super interested in, or I have a professional need to know about. Where the bar is for how frequently we do them, it'll depend on how much news there is. I suspect within the context of the presidential race, we're going to have quite a bit of news over the next year and a half. And so we may do a lot, but I'll read the room. I'll survey the members, and we may do more. We may do fewer, depending on how much news there is and what the appetite is for them. Like I said, those are available to both Mario and Luigi, as are the next category, Zooms pegged to major events. I suspect we'll be doing a Zoom the night of major primaries and caucuses, the day after. I suspect we'll do them around the debates. I suspect we'll do them around the conventions when there's a major event. And it may not just politics. If there's a Academy Awards or some event like that, and I can get us a good guest who I think people would like to hear from, we'll do those as well. And you'll get notice of those, of course, farther in advance than the breaking news Zooms. And like I said, I can't schedule them to everybody's satisfaction, but they'll be recorded and you'll be able to get those. And the cadence of those, again, will depend on levels of interest and how much news there is. But I will curate who's on in terms of guests. I will curate the conversation, help manage the Q&A. And I want those to be conversations of the kind that I have with my friends, my professional associates, when there's a breaking news story or a big event. Some of you have access to those kinds of conversations in your personal or professional life, but it's something that's not always available. And again, it's going to be more sophisticated and more interactive than what's available on cable news or in any other forum, at least that I know about. Okay. 2 email replies a month. One of the things I've done since I started the newsletter is I answer a lot of reader emails. Some of you have probably emailed me and gotten replies. I'll continue to do that if you're a member of Mario or Luigi. 2 a month is the rough approximation. You can ask me a specific question about analysis, about fact. It can be a news of the day. If you've got a professional interest in something that's going on in Washington, you can ask me about it. I'll need, if it's something that you've got a deadline on, it will be helpful if you tell me, but I'll turn those around pretty quick. I'm a pretty fast replier, as some of you at least have seen. And those are available again to everybody. Those are the things that are in Mario and Luigi. I want to tell you about 3 things that are available in Luigi, not available in Luigi, but only available in Mario. The price difference, again, we're talking about a pretty high priced product in some ways. The price difference between the two is not that much. When I worked at ABC, they had a stock purchase plan where the employer matched a contribution to the retirement fund. And one of my bosses called it the IQ test. His view was, if you didn't understand the value of the stock purchase plan and put every penny you were allowed to in, you were missing a great opportunity. I really do think the things that come with Mario are extremely valuable and really worth more if you tried to buy them on the open market than the price I'm charging. And I hope you'll see it that way too. The first thing that comes with Mario is focus groups. I've done focus groups with my colleagues, Paul and Audra, who are on the call here with us. We did it as a TV show for a long period of time. two Trump voters and two Biden voters from across the country. We do our focus groups not brick and mortar, but over Zoom. No one else has done it the way we do it, and they look like television rather than a Zoom. It allows you not just to have 8 people from Indianapolis, say, but from all over the country. And I find them as a reporter one of the most valuable tools there is. It's qualitative, not quantitative, but it's incredibly compelling. And so if we were doing one tonight, I would we would book eight Republicans who are open to voting for Donald Trump or Ron DeSantis, probably. And we'd ask them about how they're thinking about the two men. Or we might do 8 young Democrats and ask them what they think of President Biden running for re-election, what they think of Robert Kennedy. Those are the kind of things we'll do. And again, because we don't do them brick and mortar, but we do them online, we can turn them around pretty quickly. And so if there's something that happens, say one of the candidates gets indicted, we can be online with you watching within a day, 2 days. And that's not something available anywhere else. If you're a fan of focus groups, whether you've watched them as journalist focus groups or whether you've used them in your own work, I think you'll see the value there. And again, I don't know anyone else offering that as a product. Don't know how often we'll do them. We'll see again what the appetite is. You'll be able to watch them live on a Zoom like this. You'll be muted and your camera will be off, but you'll be able to watch live. Eventually, as people get comfortable with the process, you'll be able to give me questions live during the focus group of things you'd like me to ask. And they'll be recorded and made available to you. Those will sometimes be breaking news. Sometimes they'll be planned. Again, people won't always be able to attend, but you'll be able to watch them after. The second thing that's part of this, only for Mario, is 2 Zooms a year with me, 1 hour. Use however you wish. You can have me talk just one-on-one with you about politics. If you want media training, that's something I do. You can have me speak to your board, to your annual meeting, to your family reunion, your Kiwanis Club, whatever you want. You can set them up well in advance. If somebody wanted to book me for the night of the New Hampshire primary right now, great. If somebody said, hey, Biden just announced he's not running and my board is really curious about what this means, can you do a Zoom in 2 hours? If I'm free, yeah. And again, it can be a big group, a small group, whatever you want. That kind of speech with good jokes and information, if you went in the open market and tried to get that, you pay $15,000 or more. I'm offering you 2 as part of Mario, which is less than $5,000. And again, I don't know anyone else who's offering it to you to be able to book either well in advance or on the fly. If you wish to have me do it in person, there's a premium on that, but it's not the same premium you'd pay again for the kind of speaker with the knowledge I have and the capacity to entertain that I have, if I can say that. And that premium will depend on how far you need me to travel. And if you want to buy more, if you decide you want me to speak to your board or your group every month, you can buy more, again, at a pretty low rate compared to the open market. The last thing available only to the people who sign up for Mario is the first Tuesday of the month salon conversations. Those are similar to the breaking news Zooms and the Zooms pegged to major events, but they'll be a little bit more well booked in terms of the number of participants. There'll be the opportunity for kind of a more freewheeling conversation. I can't tell you the names tonight, but I can tell you I've booked people for the first meeting, which is going to be on a Wednesday, even though it's the first Tuesday of the month, salon Zooms, because the first Tuesday of the first month of July is July 4th. So on July 5th, we're going to have a pretty good group. Really interesting, fun people. These will not be serious conversations. We'll talk about policy when that's the right thing to talk about. But it's going to be a group of people who are fun, interesting, interested in talking. And you'll have an opportunity to interact with some people you've heard of, smart people in politics who are in the media or visible in public life. And I'm really looking forward to those. Again, I'm in charge of making those fun and interesting and compelling and give you information that you can use. They'll be off the record conversations. I'm going to remind everybody that off the record with the size of a Zoom this will be is not the safest thing necessarily, despite my warning everybody. So people have to be a little bit careful. But I think, again, you're going to find those to be the kind of conversations really not available to most people anywhere else. And in the age we're in now, where people aren't at L'Oreal Plaza as much as they used to be or out socializing, I think it's the kind of conversation that isn't available very many other places to anybody. let alone to some of you who just either don't live in Washington or New York or don't operate in political circles on a full-time basis. As I said, those last three things, to me, if you tried to buy them on the open market, if they're of professional interest to you or personal interest to you, would cost you, for any of them, a lot more than $5,000. And Mario, with everything included, is less than $5,000 for the year, plus all the things that come with Luigi. So some people have chosen Luigi, some have chosen Mario. I think the value of Mario, given the price differential, is a no-brainer. As my old boss would say, it's an IQ test, but they both have their value. And again, require folks to pay up. My model is such: you got to pay for the full year, but I promise you, from the first day, starting on Thursday, you're going to get a lot of value out of it. I'm going to stop there. There's some more details that I'm sure we'll get into. I'm going to ask my colleague Paul Wilkie, who is nice enough to help produce these and to help me with Audra, help me with the whole project, to see if Paul wants to follow up on anything that he thinks requires some more illumination, and then Paul will help figure out how we're going to go forward with some Q&A. Paul.
Actually, one of the questions I think some people might have is if I sign up for Luigi, can I sort of midstream upgrade to Mario?
Yeah, very flexible about that. If people want to upgrade, if they want to prorate it, depending on how long it's been, happy to do that. But yeah, no problem applying your Luigi payment to upgrade to Mario.
So the private Zooms, do you recommend a suggested agenda, or it's like one topic, two topics, three topics?
It's really just think of it like booking a speech for an event or calling on a consultant for a meeting. People can say, by Zoom, people say whether you want to host it or not, when you want to do it, who the audience is, and what you want the topic to be. It can be update on the presidential election with Q&A. It can just be Q&A. You can say you want it to be on what's Congress going to do about China. It's really up to the member to decide what they want the agenda to be. But if they just want it to be general, give us your standard political speech and Q&A. It can be that as well. I expect, based on what some Mario members have already said, that's how they plan to use it. They plan to have me speak to their board or their annual meeting, just giving kind of a general update on the presidential campaign. But it can be as specific or as general as a member wants. And again, they can be scheduled for the next day or that day or for down the road, depending on what people want.
And any limited number of attendees? Like if you want to bring a guest?
No. Okay. Anywhere from 1 to 1 million, as far as I'm concerned. It really doesn't matter. And as I said, they can be in person for a little bit more, depending on the logistics of where and when. And I'll just emphasize again that the community of folks on this Zoom and who've read the newsletter and have interacted with over the last 3 years has been really important to me in all sorts of ways. So I'm very grateful, and I am looking forward to getting this up and running and getting back to communicating with the full list. This is a lot of money by some standards, and some people who've been confused have said it's a lot to pay for a newsletter. It's more than they pay for the New York Times and the more they pay for the Washington Post. This is not just a newsletter. Newsletter is a piece of it, but as I hope I made clear in running through the chart, there's a lot of other things that come with this. There are things that I don't think are available anywhere else, and these will not be boring. They'll be interesting. So you'll be paying to follow closely the presidential campaign through my eyes, through the eyes of the people I book as guests. You'll be able to see focus groups that you can't see anywhere else, and you'll get those 2 private 1 hours to use how you wish. And as I said, that's on the open market for somebody with my experience, a lot more typically. So if you've got questions subsequent to the end of the Zoom, you can feel free to email me. If you decide you want to purchase one and you don't want to do it by credit card, you should feel free to reach out, and I can supply again Zelle, Venmo, PayPal, check, any way you'd like to pay, wire transfer, any way you'd like to pay. And it all starts on Thursday. Thursday, members will get the regular newsletter, and they'll get a separate explanation of how, similar to what I ran through for you all tonight, about how to access the benefits, how to schedule custom Zooms, how the other Zooms and the emails will work. And then if you haven't signed up by Thursday, and by Thursday or Friday or Monday you're missing the newsletter and you want to get back on the list, you won't be too late to sign up. Thank you all so much. Have a great evening, and I hope to see some of you in my inbox soon as Mario's or Luigi's. Thank you.